In this lesson, we'll talk about what a preliminary investigation is and why we carry them out. Preliminary investigations are used to determine the appropriate control variables for any investigation. Now, let's give you an example. Imagine that we've got 3 beakers full of water, and we want to see which fuels will heat up the beakers of water the quickest and the hottest. Now, what kind of fuels could we choose? Gas from a Bunsen burner, wood, and candle wax. Now, consider these for a moment. There might be a few problems with how we set up this investigation. First of all, how much water should we use in each of the beakers? Remember, this is a control variable, so we have to make sure that it's the same amount of water for each beaker. But if we use the same amount of water for each beaker, could it be that some fuels will burn too hot, such as the gas, and then the water will boil too quickly? Other fuels, such as wood, might burn too quickly and not heat up the water enough. Because remember, matches don't last very long. Can you think of any more control variables? Now, these are just some of the things to think about. In the next video I'm going to show you, think about why we carry out a preliminary investigation.
Have you ever wondered which is Britain's stretchiest material? But what sort of test could you do to find out? DIY bungee jumping, of course, but you can forget your fancy harness and your clever bungee cord and your fiddly carabiners, because we're going to be testing to find out which is Britain's best DIY bungee cord. And to do that, we've enlisted this, a very, very big crane. The drop zone has been roped off and we're ready for our first bungee jump. Tights, the stretchiest substance known to man, or more typically woman. But then it is a modern world, so anything goes, hey. The secret ingredient in tights is elastane, which is 2 to 3 times stretchier than rubber and 1/3 of the weight. But will it stretch when it's got a brainiac hanging off the end of it? Properly safe. Of course, the one snag with tights is that they do have an inherent tendency to tie themselves in knots, which may hamper their bungee abilities.
Come on, Brainiac, untangle your tights, we're waiting.
Rather him than me.
Okay, I think finally we're ready. So, Brainiac, we're ready for you. Jump.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more.
How long was that drop?
100 foot.
And how long was the tights bungee cord?
100 foot.
You see, this is one of the basics of bungee jumping. You need the rope shorter than the drop. Definitely. So what we're going to do is, from now on, we're going to have a 50-foot length of each material we're testing. So we need to modify the bungee. We definitely need a new Brainiac, and we need to get a move on, okay? Right, let's do it. Okay, we've now got 50 feet of homemade tights bungee cord, so that should be a bit more realistic. Oh, I tried to get another Brainiac to go on the end of it, but there were no volunteers, so I've had to use a mannequin. But the results will be the same, and the legal guys were a bit happier about it. Okay, we're ready. Here we go. When you're ready, throw the mannequin Brainiac off. Yeah, you're going to need to tie it on at the other end. This again is one of the basics of bungee jumping. Oh, for crying out loud.
Once again, what have the fine people at Brainiac taught us? Well, when testing a 100-foot bungee drop, the bungee cord must be shorter than 100 feet, obviously. Now, how much shorter is why we carry out these preliminary tests. So remember that on the exam.